Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, April 12th Compliance Weekly. This is our first week of a more sort of European-friendly time. So let's start and we'll walk the board. Let me share my screen. Okay. So let's go through the billboard. Can you see that all right? Cool. All right. So no Rob this week. Huzaifa, you've got all the other priority one issues if you want to walk through those.
Yep. So we're working on a feature to add, delete the inactive projects. Inside those issues, we have these three issues. The first one was to actually add the settings to the the columns to the application settings table. This is now MWPS. So I'll just move this to verification now. The next, you can just update the label if you want. The other one is to actually create a method to determine if a project is inactive or not, which is the last issue in this column, the last one. So this one is also like almost done workflow in Dev. I'll just have to create an MR and then push this to review, and then I'll start working on the main issue, which is adding the feature itself.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay. That's still in Dev. It's not in review yet.
I haven't created an MR, so yeah, technically
Okay.
in Dev, I'll just create an MR right away and then move it to review.
Awesome. Nice one. Priority two, that's just me. So the first MR, which allows us to override the created attribute on an audit event, has now been merged. I'm going to verify that well, this morning, hopefully, and then I can work on actually fixing the events that are being saved at the incorrect time. We're pretty close to the end of the milestone, so I don't know if I'll get that finished, but it won't be far behind in the next milestone if not. Since we've got a pretty light agenda, we can cover priority 3 and 4 as well. So Hasamar, do you want to walk through yours?
Yeah. So for the add merge request settings changes part 1. So actually the MR got merged, but we had to revert it because end-to-end test case was failing for it. So for now, I have fixed that case and again push the MR for review. So currently waiting for maintainer review on it. And for the second one, delayed group deletion application setting. So it's in review, but I got to know that we have to run a migration pipeline before, if we are doing a migration in a MR, and that migration pipeline unfortunately has failed, and I'm trying to find the reason for it. And I've asked in the database Slack channel for the logs if I can see why it failed, and for that I'm waiting now. And for the part 2, I've also pushed the changes and waiting on the review for add merge request setting changes part 2.
Okay, great. That's fine. Let us know if you don't get anywhere with the database channel, and one of us can try and help if we can.
Sure.
This one, feature flag. What's this?
I guess Dennis was trying to enable the feature flag one day, and then we had an incident which was blocking the feature flag rollout. So I guess it's just a rollout.
Okay, great. Well, we'll leave that with Dennis for now. Awesome. Priority 4, one's assigned to Rob and one's unassigned. Oh, an audit event fix. If either of you have time to pick this up, feel free. Otherwise, it can roll over. This one doesn't have a priority, probably should. This is to refactor some of the code to make it so that you can only assign compliance frameworks to group namespaces rather than user namespaces for now. Now, Huzaifa, thank you for your initial review. I'm working through those failing specs now, so hopefully we can get that into maintain review by the end of today. Awesome. Anything else anyone wanted to cover on the build board? Wonderful. We can go through any closed issues. I think Dennis created a bookmark of where we got to last time. Check that user avatar list. Cool. So only 2. UI bug from Jan, and then Hasamar. Want to talk us through this one?
Yeah, so this is manage group audit logs to spec. So basically, this is the end-to-end test case which was failing. So we have reverted the MR and now it's closed.
Awesome. Always good. Fantastic. Okay, that's the build board. Next is refinement board. I don't think there's a lot here. There's none assigned except to yarn. There's a couple of top priorities. So if anyone gets the chance to look at these two, feel free, but they're not assigned yet. So it's not a priority. Let's see what we've got though. Options to enable pipelines must succeed at group level. Oh, so that's enforcing group level option. Could be interesting. And the other one, an API for SHA specific chain of custody reports. So this, I think, is just adding an API for an existing feature, which I'll click on once the Zoom thing disappears. There we go. This is quite an old issue now, so it might require a bit of time to really dig into it. Looks like it was REST specific as well. And obviously we tend to focus on GraphQL first. Yeah, okay. Awesome. Is there any of these that you'd like me to assign to you or anything you want to talk about on these, you two?
I don't think so. I'll be working mostly on the inactive project deletion only.
Yeah, of course. Okie dokie. Wonderful. Anything else? Don't need to talk about release post blockers. Oh, actually, no, probably do because it's the last weekly of the milestone, but let's see if there's anything obvious. Might be tricky without Sam. So new streaming audit events for Git actions. That's ready.
I guess that's the one which Dennis is currently doing. This is behind the feature flag.
So hopefully that will be fixed by the end of the milestone.
Yes.
Release post for compliance report, individual violation reporting. Where have we got to with this? Okay, so this is ready to go, but I don't think there's anything anyone needs to do on it at the moment. But it doesn't have the ready label. I'm trying to see if there's anything we as engineers can do to speed this up. Not sure.
I think the feature is already ready. Jon was working on it, so
yeah,
probably this should be good to go in this one.
It should be good to go. Okay, I'll note in the agenda, and we can see if we can get that forward. Streaming audit events user interface.
This was released in the previous milestone, but we missed adding the release post. So when Sam Kerr got back, he just created this release post. So it's great. It's a late release post.
Okay, that's fine. But it looks like it's ready to go at least.
Should be, yes.
Great. No blockers there. Release post for merge method enforcement. Yeah, this isn't going to make it. There's still open questions. It's community contribution. So that's going to remain blocked and unlikely to make 1410 for now. But we'll discuss that with Sam later in the day. Sorry, go on.
Is this the huge MR that we have? Like, which has a conflict with this? Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to make 1410, I wouldn't have thought. So we can discuss that async. Awesome. Okay. Review the priorities list as well. I don't think much has changed. I know Sam Kerr was talking about possibly not using this in the future anyway. Yeah, anything anyone wants to add here?
No, I mean, I already mentioned in the last compliance weekly that the 6th point over here, the improving the auditability, this will definitely not make in 1410. Okay. And I guess Dennis mentioned that we haven't updated this issue in a couple of weeks, I guess. So
and also for the point 4, because we had to revert the original MR. Now both the MRs are in review, but I have somewhat low confidence on it.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll discuss async about the best way to deal with priorities on a weekly basis because I think this is falling out of out of favor slightly. That's fine. Okay. Anything else you want to discuss? Nice and quick this week.
I just had like a generic question outside the compliance weekly. How do we go about like creating MRs, like big MRs, and then we just distribute them into like feature branches, and then how do we go about like reviewing those feature branches? So for example, I create a small piece of code in feature branch A, then I check out a new branch from feature A as feature B, and then like add some other small parts of code. So feature A is created against master, so reviewing that is easy, but creating feature B would be like against feature A. So how do we go about review? Like, do we add a note to the reviewers that this MR is not created against the master branch and is created against feature A? And if we make any changes to feature branch A, we'll like update this one as well, rebase. So
yeah. I don't know if there's any specific method. The way I've done it in the past is if I've opened them both at the same time, then MRA would target master and MRB would target MRA if we want to review them simultaneously, because then you can see the differences. It sometimes helps as well to use the same reviewer so they understand the context. But yeah, you do have the problem that if you make changes to A, you'll need to rebase A onto B, which can get a bit confusing. I don't know if there's a better way to do it, but yeah, that's how I've done it in the past. You can use MR dependencies as well to make sure that one doesn't get merged without the other. But other than that, I don't know if there's a better way to do it, or a GitLab specific way that we've done it in the past.
Okay, cool. I'll just do that. I'll add a note to the reviewer then. Like,
yeah, just make it very clear in the MR description that that's what you're doing, and most maintainers will be fine with that.
Makes sense. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, if there's nothing else, we can end early. Hasmar, anything you would like to add?
No.
Awesome. All right. Let me just start the recording.